Hey, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and I really expected that bullet to explode inside of him. Didn't realize what was going on, but the bullet actually did explode. I expected it to, poof, but I guess he's just as solid, essentially, on the inside as he is on the outside. Uh, Not so sure how fond I am of that, because in the comics, and I explain it in my Luke Cage 30-minute profile. I don't usually keep them that long, but it didn't seem right to shorten it. It's only his epidermis that's that thick. Everything else on the inside, his bones, his soft tissues, everything is normal. Denser than normal, but still normal. Anyway, I don't know how he'd be bleeding like that and all, but whatever. They're just taking the actual physics out of it and replacing it with comic book physics. In the meantime, I did like being able to see the bullet go into the wall and seeing the explosion there and the sparks of it drilling in. That's a sick device. So the Judas bullet, but with the revelation at the end, I don't know if they're saying for real he's their brothers, Stryker and Cage, but when he said we're brothers like that, I literally thought to myself, why is it called the Judas bullet instead of the Kane bullet? My jokes always fall flat. The point is, um, when he got blown up by the grenade launcher in the ambulance, like that guy just would not quit. For a guy who has a bigger operation than even Cottonmouth, wow, that guy's really hands on. Yeah, and he looks exactly like Diamondback in the comic books. I mean, it's almost dead ringer. If I'd see that guy walking down the street, I'd say, "Oh my God, it's Willis Stryker." Just dead ringer. Uh, the framing Luke Cage thing from beginning to end, sick. They really went into good depth with that. The Biggie Smalls lyric that was in there, "Who shot you?" I caught that. I caught that. And then just yeah. Oh man, Diamondback. The fight inside that movie cinema, just like with Officer Rackham in episode 4 with the Seagate prison, that main officer in there. He said, "Man, I'm surprised you keep on falling for that, gut punch again, the punch to the gut." Here, he kept on falling for that punch to the gut. He'd block perfectly that shot over top of his head where, it's going to hit your bulletproof head and, rattle your brain a little bit, but otherwise you'll be fine. But the gut, you can't take much more there. And it's uh, horrible. Absolutely horrible. I don't know how he survived in prison like that in those fights. But the bribery and all that going on in there, and the idea that Dillard, Mariah Dillard, is whew, she's actually becoming like we're actually seeing the evolution of a bad guy, and I didn't realize until this episode we really are seeing her almost like they gave us that quick glimpse in the first Daredevil season where we saw Fisk go from a regular kid to a bad guy. Here we're seeing that evolution take place where she was corrupt, she was messed up, but she wasn't actually evil, and she's turning out to be bad, just as bad as Cottonmouth and our cousin. But when she made that comment, I would hate to bring down the property value of that apartment. Duke Ellington and Count Basie lived there. I thought that was yeah, I like the idea that she's a historian, that she's a Harlem historian. That's beautiful. And it's something extra special for me because I'm actually from Red Bank, New Jersey. Well, from Asbury, New Jersey, but I was born in Red Bank, New Jersey. And in Red Bank, you have the Count Basie Theater. So would frequent that fairly often whenever there was a good comedy or, Bruce Springsteen showed up or something like that. But that brought it home for me a bit. Anyway, personal memento aside, guys. Let me see you for the next episode.